Do you love cruising but you hate the crowds? Is the spring break in Cancun slash theme park party atmosphere just all too much for you? Well, in today's video, I'm going to give you my 5 tips to help avoid the chaos and the crowds on cruising. So stick around because you're going to want to check it out. Hey, Mike from VentureCast here, and in today's video, I'm going to give you my 5 tips to help you avoid the crowds, avoid the chaos, have a more peaceful cruise. But before we start, I'm going to go ahead and throw out a disclaimer here and just let you know that these tips are not 100% guaranteed to give you that experience. Because let's face it, cruising is more popular now than ever before. They are poised to set records this year for number of passengers sailed. So even though you employ these tips that I'm going to give you, there's a chance that you might end up on a crowded cruise ship. So I just wanted to hit you with that before we get started, kind of manage the expectations, if you will. But without further ado, let's get to it. Number 1, smaller cruise ships. Well, that's the obvious answer, isn't it? Trying to go for the smaller ships. It's limited and obviously limited to the number of passengers it can hold. A lot of these ships, right around the 2,000 to 3,000 range versus the 6,000 range of the XL and Oasis class and Icon class. And they offer less of the big venues, the exciting things that people want. There's no roller coasters, there's no huge water parks, racetracks, anything like that. So that might discourage the younger crowd, the thrill seekers, the family with 4 or 5 kids that are just trying to find things to keep them occupied during the day so they can sit and enjoy their cold drink by the pool on the Lido deck. So yes, the smaller ships is a good strategy to go with, in my opinion. Number 2, time of year. Now this might be another obvious one. In my opinion, if you can avoid cruising in the summer, if you can avoid some of the holidays like spring break, New Year's, Christmas. I know that kind of restricts you a little bit on when you can book a cruise, but again, this is all about trying to avoid the crowds, the chaos, and all of that. So, off-season cruising is something to look at. I know from my own experience, January and February for me works pretty well. You go on board. Yes, there's still a decent amount of people, but it's just not that party vibe that's going on quite as much. There's always going to be a certain amount of partying on any cruise ship. You're not going to 100% get away from that, but it's a little bit tamer, a little bit more organized. So yeah, look at the time of year that you're booking, and that might help you avoid some of this chaos. Number 3, adult-only areas. All right, well, even if you can't avoid the certain times of year, and even if you can't book on a smaller cruise ship, and you are on one of the big mega ships, well, the good news is most of these ships have adult-only areas. Royal Caribbean has their Solarium area, Carnival has the Serenity area, and these are usually 18 or up at least. So there's no kids. There's usually not a lot of loud music blaring, pumping, dancing going on, and drunken chaos going on. So it's one way that you can go without having to worry about booking a smaller ship. You can still enjoy all the amenities of the bigger ship and have a little getaway where you can enjoy some relaxation. All right, that brings us to number 4, and number 4 would be length of cruise. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, in my experience, I've noticed that the shorter cruises, like the 3 and 4 night cruises, also known as booze cruises, those tend to be a lot more packed, and the folks that book those cruises are usually there to party hard, blow off some steam. They're very popular because it doesn't require you to take as much time off work. Depending on what kind of work schedule you got, you might even be able to take it without taking off any work. And they're cheaper, very, very low cost. And with that low cost, people can afford to splurge on drink packages more, maybe spend more in the casino. You could even afford to book a suite, whereas normally you wouldn't be able to afford it. So these are very popular, but I've noticed that when I've gone on those, that's when I've experienced most of the chaos. Also, if you can swing it, if you've got the time off, or maybe you're retired, if you look at the longer cruises, ones that are longer than 7 days, like there's some of these 2-week cruises, like Carnival offers a lot of these 2-week, sometimes a month-long journeys cruises, where you're hitting all kinds of ports. Maybe you're going through the Panama Canal, maybe it's a transatlantic or trans-Pacific or something along those lines, or an extended Alaska cruise. That's a good strategy to avoid some of the crowds, because let's face it, these younger couples with kids and stuff like that, they're probably not going to be able to swing, taking off 2, 3, 4 weeks for a cruise. So, and I myself, I've done one of these journeys cruises from Carnival, a 14-day cruise to Alaska, and there was hardly any. I mean, there might have been just a handful of kids on board. It was an older crowd, more of a retirement age crowd. So it was a lot more relaxed, a lot more chill, no chaos at all. Now, a lot of those cruises are going to be on the older, smaller ships again, so less venues. So you got to kind of take that into consideration. Being on a cruise that long and not having the specialty dining options or some of the other things that the bigger ships have. But all in all, I enjoyed that cruise. I felt like there was plenty for me to do. I guess it just depends on what are the things that you like to do as far as being on a cruise. But length of cruise can definitely is a strategy that you can employ to beat some of these crowds and some of the chaos. All right, last but not least, and I put this one last for a reason, and you'll understand why when I tell you. And number 5 is the exclusive areas. And so what do I mean by that? Well, a lot of these cruise lines, they have areas that you pay a lot more for more exclusivity. So it's limited to the crowds. You got to be you got to book a certain type of suite or certain type of cabin, usually for a lot more. And for that, the benefit of that is you get your own designated area to hang out in. Maybe it's your own exclusive restaurants or pools, hot tubs, that kind of thing. And so it kind of cuts down on crowds, cuts down on the chaos, if you will. And things like MSC has this yacht club. I think NCL has the Haven. Carnival even has on some of their ships the Havana area, and which I've actually sailed on a couple of Havana suites on the Vista class, and those areas are very nice because it is more expensive. I mean, you're probably going to be looking at paying double what a normal cruise would cost you, but for that price you get access to these areas where it's kind of cordoned off. It's more of a serene environment. Like I said, you might have your own pool, hot tubs, your own bar, and so that's why I listed it last, because it is more expensive. So, but if you're one of these cruisers that you can afford to spend a little extra, or maybe it's a special cruise that you're planning out, and so you want to spend a little bit more, get you know, have a little bit more amenities and things like that, better treatment, then it's something to look at. Well, all right, guys, that's my 5 tips to avoid the crowds and the chaos on a cruise. Again, these are not going to be 100% guaranteed to work, but it's more meant as a strategy when booking to, you know, to find that cruise for you, so you know you can have a little bit more chill, more relaxed environment. But you know, let me know in the comments what you think. You know, do you think that I'm wrong? Or do you have some tips that you use? Hey, let us know. Share in the comments, because it's all about helping each other out here on VentureCast. And with that, I'm going to close it out. As always, consider hitting the thumbs up on the way out. If you like this kind of content, consider subscribing. It's 100% free. Helps the channel grow. Helps push the message out to the masses. I truly do appreciate anybody that watches. I hope you're having a good day, and I hope the rest of your week goes well. And I will see you on the next video. Take care, everybody.